Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about replicas. Now do remember that this is a very important video when you're working with Kubernetes. Now this is the whole sole purpose of working with Kubernetes or Docker Swarm. As an orchestrator, you will be able to manage the workload from an orchestrator like Docker Swarm or Kubernetes. So in this situation where we're working with Docker Swarm, we are going to use the Docker Swarm to create a service. A service is nothing but a piece of program which we want to run as part of the swarm. Now the swarm is going to load this piece of program based on the number of replicas we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type a simple command here, docker service create -p AD:80 -name nginx_replica 1 -replicas 3 and then nginx. That's the name of my image. So here it's very simple command, service create with a port number of 80 locally and 80 remotely on the server, on the container, sorry. And then with the name of nginx replica, that's your service name. To remember the difference, this is your service name. So previously we were creating containers, so container had a name, right? So we normally keep a name for container, but we have to think big, we have to think large right now. So we are not just talking about one container, we're talking about 3 containers at this moment, because we're going to have 3 replicas. And normally how it divides the replica, 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 replicas it's going to create over here. Nginx, that's the name of the image, that's the replicas of the image it's going to create. So so you will see 1, 2, 3 containers created all together. That's how it's going to happen. So let's hit enter and see what happens. Now you can see that it's taking a bit of time because it is realizing. Now I'm going to use watch command here on docker ps. Watch command here, docker ps. You can see that a new image has been created here, and docker ps here, there's a new container has been created over here. So you can see that name is linked with your service name, and you can see .3 and then basically your node ID. So if you just give docker node ls, you can see that this is NK and T, right? So this is some kind of ID which is associated with this particular machine, container. And you have something like that over here as well, and something like this as well. So you can see that pretty much your Docker Swarm has created 3 instances of your containers across these 3 servers, which is also including master. Now you may be surprised that, oh, how come master is also part of it? Yes, master should be part of it because you have not given any kind of a restriction here while you created this image. On the next video, we will talk about how to make sure that you create containers only on the slaves or in the worker nodes, but not on the master. So we will talk about it on the next video. But I want to show you more details here before I proceed there. So I'm going to use a docker service ls. Now what this service is saying is that I have created a service here with this ID, name of the service, and it is a replicated service, which is the mode, and 3 out of 3. There are 3 replications for this. And then it's an nginx latest image with the port number of 80:80. So that's what you can see over here. And these images are across these 3 servers. So this is the first thing over here. Now you can also see from the Docker Swarm about the status of the service. Like for example, you can do ps and then give the name of the service, and you can see all these processes running across different servers. Now when you go to this particular node, you will only be able to see the particular container which is running on that node. You will not be able to see the other container which is running on the other node. So for that, you need to log into that particular node to understand what are the containers running on that node. But when you're on the master server or the manager server, you can see how many containers are running for that particular replica set in terms of that particular application or the service name. And you can see that for manager, worker 1, worker 2, there are these 3 replicas, and it is distributed in these nodes. So this is a beautiful thing. You can also get the errors over here. You can also get the logs from the manager. So you can do all those activities from the manager itself rather than logging into those slave nodes or the worker nodes. Now, another feature I'm going to show you in here is the Docker service replica over here. So there's scale. So scale is going to increase the number of replicas you have. So for example, I want to increase this from 3 to 6. So all I have to do is I can ask the Docker service to scale this particular service to 6. So which means that it is starting new instances over here. You can see that the new instance is popping up right after you have this command executed. You can see how much time it took for these instances to spin up, and you can see that particular instances have spun up. All right, so now if you can see that it has added 3 more instances, which means that it has not removed the existing instances that's still running for 3 minutes, but it has added new instances over here on worker 1, manager 1, and worker 2. So all those 3 instances are created. Now, scaling up can not just be the one task. You can also scale down to number 2. So now you can see that it is basically scaling down to number 2. This will make sure that only 2 instances are running. Rest of the instances will be removed. So now if you see that it has not created newer instance, it is just holding on to the existing instance it has created. So now if I'm going to make this replica to number 3, now you can see that a new instance has been added to the master server right now. So waiting for it to see, and you can see the manager has the new instance running. So likewise, you can scale up, scale down as and when you need it, and it will try to hold on the old instances as it is, unless and until you may have to reduce the complete size of it. So these are the things I wanted to check with you or tell you about it. So then last command I'm going to execute is Docker service rm and the name of the service. So with one command, you can destroy the entire service which you have. Now you can see that all those containers are removed, and you can also see that no such service such a service found because you have removed that service after all. That's all I wanted to show you guys in this video. Thank you again for watching this with patience. I'll see you in the next one.